Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another full body workout for you guys. And yeah, I've definitely got a strained erector, and it was actually feeling just fine this whole weekend. It did twinge a little bit when I woke up this morning, felt some cramping in my lower back, started training, and I noticed on my last rep, after I got out from under the front squats each time, it started cramping, starting with 185. And that's when I realized, okay, we definitely have an issue here. Now, what we all know with back stuff is that what the best experts out there say, who are MDs who lift and things like that, stopping training your lifts is not a good idea. That it will actually exacerbate the situation. Now, I've assessed all of it, and I don't think it's disc related. I think it's completely muscular based upon the location where it's at. Lack of numbness or weakness in either of my legs, but it is an intense cramping that kind of radiates sometimes around almost towards my hip on the left side, starting about 2 inches left of the spine. So definitely a erector, and it kind of hurts even up in the upper glute a little bit. So I've definitely pulled something in there. And I think my solution here is to front squat for a while. So I'm going to front squat, build it back up. I noticed it was pretty bad after I deadlifted too, even though I was going to just deload deadlifts to work on the movement pattern. On the third rep on the deadlift, on the way back down, lowering it, I definitely felt it on the eccentric, and it cramped up a little bit. So what I'm going to do, we're just going to nurse it, keep massaging it, keep stretching everything, work on mobility, work on back position. Get all that stuff sorted, and I'm going to put a really heavy focus on the press and my pull-ups right now, because the press doesn't aggravate it, and I feel like the press is one of the best exercises ever. It's something I wanted to put a heavy focus on. And I think as I slowly just kind of heal that area and just deload it a bit and keep training it, I think I'm going to focus on front squats for a while and work on front squats, get those up to speed, and then eventually work back squatting back in. But I feel like at this point, my lower back is just completely shot from the way I've been squatting, all the squatting. And it didn't actually hurt me with the heavy weight. And people need to remember that. They're like, oh, we don't like the way you squat. It's like, guys, I didn't have problems when I was squatting 475, 485, stuff like that every day. Months ago, no issues at all. This started fairly recently, with my pause squats and everything. Now, could it be the issue of me going too low and then getting too much posterior tilt happening there at the bottom from the pause work? Very well could be. Could be a contributing factor. I think it probably is. So what I'm going to work on is my overall posture on the squat. So I feel like if I focus on front squats for a little while and then go back to the high bar squat and maintain that upright position, we will eventually eliminate this. What I noticed though on the front squats, I didn't have any problems during the lift. I would say I started feeling pain on those after I racked the bar, walked over, turned the camera off, and walked out of the room. That's when it started, was after actually exiting the room as soon as I set my foot on the hardwood floor in my hallway. So that's when it would start each time. And interestingly enough, the deadlift did it on the eccentric on the third rep. So lets me know where I'm at with that. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to work on it slowly the best I can. I'm going to have to continue cutting. And if I lose a little muscle in my legs during this, I lose a little bit of muscle, I'll rebuild it. Because as I rehab that area, let it heal, then we'll get stronger on the front squats. Do a little more core work, make sure everything's strong. And I'm just going to, in the meantime, I'm just going to destroy the press. I'm going to destroy pull-ups. Now, obviously, these pull-ups, I'm doing these every day weighted, or at least 3 days a week weighted on camera, but I'm also doing body weight ones every day. I try to do about 20 dead hang pull-ups every day on my off days from lifting, with just my body weight. So they're getting a lot of work. And in the meantime, I'm doing the press with more volume. And what I may do, if I get tired of that greasing the groove on the pull-ups, I might start pressing every day also, with just a lighter weight on my off days, right? A little bit of pressing and just leave my bars set up and get really, really, really strong at the press. Get strong at the press. Should be good for my core and everything on top of it. Stronger core will help with all these potential lower back issues. But welcome to aging, guys. Welcome to lifting heavy weights in your 40s. You're going to have these little tweaks and everything. But I do appreciate people noticing I'm getting leaner. Obviously, the singlet's fitting looser. Pretty soon I'm going to switch to some of my smaller ones. I have a neck size down and a couple different colors that I bought months ago anticipating this cut. But, you know, they're not Adidas, so I'm not really a squatting slob in a tracksuit. So I'm not really doing a lot of squatting right at this exact moment anyway, so maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe that doesn't matter. But, yeah, the weight loss is coming along. Weight loss is coming along for sure. And we're going to get that press back up. And I'm going to keep closed grip benching, mainly because, you know, it's like, people are like, you're going to compete in powerlifting again? I don't know. I don't know. But in the meantime, whether I'm going to or not, I need to keep that closed grip strong because, number one, I could always stand the extra chest work and upper body development. But two, it's one of the best accessories for my press. And I feel like right now I really want my press to go up. So if I keep focusing on the closed grip bench, that is the best accessory for the press. It will improve it. So they feed into each other really well. And I think between those two lifts and then doing a lot of pull-ups, that pretty well handles most of my upper body work. And as you guys saw, once you guys have actually seen me shirtless, my upper body's not lagging that much. It's really not. I'm doing pretty good. I mean, we can always stand to get bigger in certain places, but I feel like the areas where I could stand to gain more size, I feel like the press really does a good job of it. You know, it really does. The back and everything's good, but so the pull-ups are really just helping my biceps more than anything in my rear delts. So, you know, back to the press. I decided to up the weight just a hair for the 5s, and I ended up only getting 4 reps on my 5th set. So we ended up, instead of a 5x5, we got like 5x4 and then a 1x4 or whatever. We got to work that. 4x5. Who knows? Who cares? Who cares? But the presses are coming along. I feel like, again, doing multiple sets of 5 with 160 strict. Strength is coming back on this. I think where I'd like to be on this, you know, once I'm down under 200, even before we start really trying to recomp, I'd like to get to 185 for sets of 5. I think that would be a real good spot. And notice, guys, I do a real press. This is all the way to the chest with a pause, none of this stopping at my chin, touch and go. I'm pressing. So when I talk about 185 for 5, I mean like you just saw right there. I don't mean some silly ass shit that you see other people doing. It's full range of motion. Pressing from a dead stop off your chest. You know, this is my favorite exercise almost these days. I love the press. Like the deadlift is my favorite too, but it's like I can't do it as much. But, you know, if it came down to it at this point, if people were to say, like, what 2 lifts would you do? If you could only do 2 lifts, but you could do them with no pain, no overtraining, none of that, right? It would be the press and the deadlift. Right? The press and the deadlift, like those are my favorite lifts. They're my favorite lifts. I only squat because it's just probably the best leg exercise out there. Even though you guys remember I was squatting every day on Bulgarian style. It is probably the best leg exercise in existence. And there's 2 different strength sports to where you have to squat. So just as a strength athlete, I need to squat. But if it came down to it, if I could put all my energy into 2 exercises, it would be the press and the deadlift. It would be the press and the deadlift. I'd come in and train these 2 lifts every single day and not worry about anything else if I didn't need to have muscle in certain places and other stuff. These are my go-tos. Love them. And I think like these are just the manliest lifts. These 2 lifts, strict press, standing press, and the deadlift, conventional deadlift. Yeah, those are hands down, I think just the most manly, virile lifts there are. I love them. Love doing them. But yeah, for now, I mean, you know, since I'm having these other issues, I can focus on the press a lot. I really want to get my strength back up on the press. I want to get it back to 225, which I had been doing every day for a little while at a much heavier body weight. Because if I cut down under 200, which is coming, and if I continue this cut, I want to get a 225 press at under 200 pounds. I think doing that in my 40s, that would be awesome. Just like getting a 600-pound deadlift with a hook grip at under 200 pounds body weight's on my agenda without a belt. Like, I think those 2 lifts would really, really put me where I want to be in terms of strength. Be down at 190, 195, be able to press 225 and then pull 600 with a hook grip. I think that would be real nice. I'd be real happy with that in my age group. I think that would be really worthwhile goals to work towards. But, you know, in the meantime, I've got to continue to bring this body weight and body fat down, which we are doing successfully. As you guys see, week by week, it is happening. So it is going to happen, and we're in the process of doing and we're not that far away. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.